Hi, Dr. Bill here. Today I'm going to talk to you about silica. Now, silica is a fascinating mineral, fascinating study. Sand is basically silica, and we make glass from sand by melting sand. And as you know, glass can be also very sharp. Quartz is also made from silica. So silica has many applications. What I'm going to talk to you today is about silica, the mineral that we can use for our bodies. Now, silica obviously as a nutritional element has been around for a long time. I can remember when I was first in practice we were utilizing silica. But fairly recently I received some more information, and a lot of case histories of people or patients that had been using a particular form of silica called diatomaceous earth, made from fossils. And this particular form of silica was actually getting very good results, particularly with arthritis. So it reignited my interest in silica, and I began to test more of my patients for it and to recommend it for more of my patients. And just as I thought, the results were very pleasing. In particular, we had patients with osteoarthritis, osteoarthritis of the hip joint in here, which as you know often happens as you get older. And by putting patients on the silica, we were able to reduce the pain and the stiffness that's normally associated with arthritis. And we're able to do this with a number of patients. So for those of you who may be struggling with any type of osteoarthritis, I can highly recommend silica as something that you can use. Now, there are many substances that you can use to help arthritis, and we've talked about a few before. We've talked about mangosteen for inflammation associated with arthritis, particularly rheumatoid, but it still works for osteoarthritis. MSM, I'm a great fan of MSM, which is a natural occurring organic sulfur. Of course, you've got your fish oils, you've got your chondroitin, your glucosamine, gelatin, which is beef or chicken cartilage. So there are a number of substances that you can use to help with arthritis, and sometimes you've got to use more than one. But today I'm talking about the silica and its benefits, especially when you have any stiffness in the joints. Now, silica is an interesting element in the body. It actually helps to reshape your body. So someone has actually called it nature's scalpel because of its ability to actually shape the body. You need silica for strength and flexibility in your skin, in your hair, your nails, as well as your joints, and of course anything to do with structural strength or the structural parts of your body. So by taking silica, you actually have this all-round benefit. And many patients comment inadvertently that they've noticed their nails don't split anymore, or their hair's improved, etc., etc. So the silica is if you know how to get it and where to get it, this is the particular powder that we're using, made from diatomaceous earth, and about a teaspoon twice a day to start with. Sometimes you've got to go more if you have a particular severe problem. And it's actually very reasonably priced, which is a nice change. Or you can actually use a silica gel, and you can have silica tablets, silica capsules. So there's many different forms of silica. Sometimes one works better than another. I know with my wife particularly, the powder doesn't do the same for her as what the liquid does. But we tend to use the powder more than the liquid because it's a bit cheaper. But so sometimes different forms affect people in different ways. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was the work of Professor Louis Kervran. Now, he was French, he's the late Louis Kervran, and he was nominated for a Nobel Prize, just nominated, didn't receive one, for his work with transmutation of elements. So he wrote a book called Biological Transmutation, and he maintained that once silica was in the body, it could combine with carbon and create calcium, and an organic form of calcium. Now, The reason that can happen is that the carbon has a atomic weight of 6. That means it has 6 protons in the nucleus, 6 electrons going around it. Silica has an atomic number of 14. Again, 14 protons, 14 electrons. When you put 6 and 14 together, what do you get? 20, which just happens to be the atomic number of calcium. So in his research, and you can look this up on the internet, just look up Professor Louis Kervan, K-E-R-V-A-N, and you'll see a number of people have wrote about his work in other books as well, so you can actually research that yourself. And now silica, according to him, can convert into calcium. Now that's a fairly, how can I say it, controversial comment to make. A lot of people, a lot of scientists don't accept that. So I'll say that at the outset. So what I know happens is that the silica actually helps your body to distribute and use your calcium correctly. It's very rare that we supplement our patients with calcium. We do tests and we find that calcium doesn't show up very often, but the silica shows up a lot. So you can chase that up yourself. You might remember the movie Aaron Brockovich, where they did a joint action against a company called PG&E, I think, for the chromium that was leaching from their factory through their ponds into the drinking water of the community there, and how everyone got sick or got cancer or whatever. So they did a class action against that company. 333 million, I think they got. Now, the element was chromium hexavalence. So the hex means 6, and the valency means the number of bonds that a particular element can actually make with itself. Now the reason I bring that up is not to confuse you, but chromium today we use nutritionally to help blood sugar, diabetes, low blood sugar, hypoglycemia. So chromium has been shown as a nutrient to actually help influence diabetes and blood sugar. But in the form that this company was using it, which is what's called the ore form, the natural form as it comes out of the ground, so the chromium ore is the hexavalent chromium. And in that form it's poisonous. So you may go up on the internet and look up silica and you'll find that silica dust is poisonous to the lungs and all those sorts of things. So don't freak out when you read that, because it's the same. If you wanted iron, you'd take an iron supplement, but you wouldn't go licking an iron bar, because if you did, you'd get metallic poisoning. Same with chrome, you wouldn't lick chrome to get the chromium, because in that form it's toxic to the body. But when it comes from a plant, when the plant's been able to convert it from the ground into its form, or the animal eats the plant and we eat the animal, we eat the plant, then we get it in what I call a bioavailable form that the body can use it. So we usually call it a micronutrient or a micromineral. So don't be put off by what you might read about some forms of silica, because you couldn't eat sand and you couldn't eat glass, which is made from silica. But when you get silica in the right form, in the right nutrient form, it can be extremely beneficial for your body. So thank you, and I'll talk to you later.